Page 67, everybody's turning there, and then we're gonna do the flag salute.
Okay.
Get ready for that. Whoops.
There you go.
And Jace, Hallie accidentally forgot her grammar book, so do you mind sharing yours so she can look off yours while we do the lesson? Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Eliana's working on it. Grayson, you can take your hood off. Yeah. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, 67. Homophones, we know about those. We've heard about those a few times.
there's it sounds like the same word, but it's not spelled the same. So it's
Right.
different.
And Grayson, I really like how you raised your hand. And if you have something to share, I do want you to raise your hand, okay? Go ahead, Grayson.
Why is there two homophones?
Well, there's a lot of homophones, actually.
One and two homophones, and they have the same words.
If you look at the bottom of, at the end of that paragraph, let's listen, Levi. By the way, homo means same and phone means sound. So same sound is what that word means. And we're talking about the word two. If you look at the end of that first paragraph right there, you see two, two, and two. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Two, two, and two. They sound the same, but they're spelled different and they all mean different things. Okay, hold. Thank you for raising your hand. Go ahead, Eliana. Thank you.
So two as in the number two, two as in too much, and two as in like sending a letter to someone. Or
Good example. Okay, put your hands down for a second. It says to is a preposition. It starts a prepositional phrase. And here's the example, to the left, that's a preposition, or to escape. Now, escape is a verb, that's an action. But whenever you put a to in front of that, it changes it to what's called an infinitive. Like if you say, if the word is walk, we know that's an action word, right? But if you put to walk, then that makes it an infinitive. So it changes it up a little bit. So watch out for the word to, next to a verb. And then you've got TWO. TWO is a number, 2 soldiers, 1, 2. You guys know that. And then TOO is an adverb meaning also or to an excessive degree. Like Eliana was saying, like in the phrase right here, had it too, meaning like if you were sick and your little brother had it too, it means he had it also, whatever the sickness was, right?
and then too long.
Too long, it means like driving to Texas is too, it takes too long to get there.
My dad goes a
Long time. Yeah, that's what made me think of that. So here's what you're gonna do. They're gonna use the wrong word to on purpose for you. So you can find the ones that are wrong and you're just gonna draw a line through it and write the correct one above it. So Grayson, stay on page 67 with me. We're gonna finish up talking about this and then we'll get to the practice page. Look at the example right in the middle of the page there. Let's read that example together. Ready, read. 2 palace guards ran up to the princess. So they used the wrong twos there. Yes, Eliana.
And I found that the number two is an adjective.
Yes, that tells how many. So that is an adjective. So they want you to just draw a line through it and then write it the correct way and then label it whatever that word is supposed to be. And then to the princess is a prepositional phrase. Do you guys see how it's underlined there? So really it should be TO, not TOO. All right, now we're going to move on to quotation marks down under that. So quotation marks have certain punctuation. So remember, Grayson, punctuation is when we have a period or exclamation mark or a question mark or even a comma. That's part of our punctuation. So look where it says quote in dark letters there. And then it says, I want the gold. That kind of sounds like King Midas to me. We just read about that guy. That's what he says, or she says actually in this sentence. And then that word attribution, that word means who's saying it and how they're saying it. So notice how it says the princess declared. So it's the princess talking and she declared, that's how she's saying it. That's called attribution. So there's 2 parts to a quoted sentence like that when you have a story where characters are talking to each other. Grayson, put your pencil down. Thank you. And so when you have people or characters talking, you have a quote That's what they say. And then the attribution. Now, hold on. There's a couple of ways you can do this. Look down here where it says attribution, comma, quote. You can have the attribution first, like the princess said. And then the quote could be what she says, I want the gold. So you can switch it around. You can have the attribution first and then the quote, but you need to have a comma after attribution. If the quote comes first, you don't need a comma, you need a period. You see that? So there's two, actually, I take that back. If the quote comes first, you do need a comma. You see how they have that comma there? So attribution, comma, quote, and then quote, comma, attribution. But look at the next example with the question mark. Can you guys see that down there? Where the question mark is? If the attribution comes first, comma, quote with a question mark. If the quote comes first with a question mark, then you don't need a comma. You just put the attribution after that. Same with exclamation marks. See, they show you that right here. So when you're writing a story, like when you guys wrote about King Midas, remember the strange visitor that came and he granted the wish, and you had some speaking parts in there. So this is where you can look back on here, Grayson, and find out how to write those speaking parts with the quotes. I go like this when I'm talking about it because it looks like the little quotation marks that you put end quote. Yes.
I was gonna say they're called quotation marks.
Yes, and that's what they look like. There's two of them right next to each other. So stay on our page back there. All right, look at the example at the very bottom. And Grayson, can you read that example for me at the very bottom of page 67?
A soldier exclaimed, the princess took it.
Good. I like how I said it because there's an exclamation mark there. Notice how the exclamation mark is on the inside of the quotation mark. That means do that first and then the quote. And notice after exclaimed is a comma. That's the attribution. Who's talking in that sentence? Who can tell me? Hallie. The soldier. And how does he talk? What is his, how does he say it? Yeah, Levi? Exclaimed. That's the word I was looking for. Good job. So you were on the right track though. So that's telling how he says it. He exclaimed it. And then what he says is the last part. Okay. Let's go to the practice page now on 67. Now you can turn to page 67. Go ahead, Eliana. 69. Sorry. 69. Page 69.
I was reading it's only the blank page.
Yeah. Would you like to read the sentence? Okay, go for it.
The soldier observed the princess for too long.
For too long. Very good reading that sentence. And you probably noticed the word too. Yeah, that's bugging me. Let's fix it really quick. The word to is not the right spelling. How should it be spelled, Eliana?
T-O-O.
T-O-O. So just draw one line through it. You don't need to scribble it. Just one line through it. And then put T-O-O on top. And then our vocabulary word is observed. Does anybody know what observed means? Hallie?
Like, look and study it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Look or study it or watched something.
Maybe like glared or stared at it and then
Yep.
studied at what they looked at. Kind of like what she said.
Yeah, you guys both, those are great explanations. Go ahead and put a check by vocabulary, and you might as well put a check by homophone because we already fixed that one. Go ahead and find the two articles by yourself and label those. There's two. All right. And then we've got three nouns. So Jace, can you help us find the three nouns in the sentence?
Soldier, princess, and observed.
You're close. Observed is ed and it's a verb, so not that one, but it's actually long. It's a weird one. Doesn't sound like a noun. But notice how it says for too long. That's a prepositional phrase. So we know that it's going to end on a noun. So it's soldier, princess, and long. Good job. And then how about let's skip to verbs next. So Levi, where are the verbs in the sentence? There's actually only one. Observed, that's it. This is an easy one. And it has an ed like I said earlier. So that's a verb. What's the subject, Brady? What's the subject?
Soldier.
Soldier. So soldier is gonna have an N and an S. And then the prepositional phrase, Ava, do you know where that is? For too long. I kind of gave it away earlier, so. Underline for too long. Capital is the beginning of the sentence, end mark is a period, easy peasy cheesy. That was
Easy
easy.
peasy lemon squeezy.
Lemon squeezy, pumpkin squeezy, pumpkin spice,
No, lemon squeezy.
pumpkin easy. I don't know, I make up stuff when I say it. Yeah, you're like, what?
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That's a classic right there. All right, you're done with grammar for today. Your homework will be the next 3 pages as usual. So you guys finished up King Midas. Now I only have time for 2 people to read today, but I want to make sure everybody has a chance to read. So if you read, well, I only see 2 hands right now. I see Eliana and Levi. Anybody else? No, 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 no. Well, that works out. You guys can read yours. So since you're ready, you can start. Yep, you can stay right there.
This is the story of a greedy king named King Midas. He had a mansion full of gold. It was a luxury. King Midas was unhappy with the amount of gold he had. He wanted more. So then a visitor who was odd said, I will gladly grant you one wish. King Midas wished, everything I touch will turn to gold. He touched his table, which turned to gold, along with his chair that also turned to gold. When he touched his bed, it turned to gold, but the bed was too rough and cold to sleep or lay on. Every flower he touched turned to gold. Every kind of food he touched or ate turned to gold. He began to worry. His daughter ran out to hug him. His daughter ran out to hug him, turned to gold. King Midas cried, No! He repented for the wish he had made and felt sorely for her. The visitor returned. He explained, Bathe your hands in river Pactius. King Midas followed the instructions the visitor gave him. King Midas touched a rock. It stayed a rock, a normal rock. His daughter ran to him and hugged him. King Midas became a generous king and no longer greedy. He was loved by all his kingdom.
Nice. Let's clap for her. Very good. I'm just gonna have 2 people today, so it's gonna be, let me see your paper really quick. Eliana and then Levi. So hold on just a second, Levi. I noticed you accidentally forgot to double space on the back. So make sure you double space next time, okay? And the only other thing I wanted to suggest, by the way, I loved all of your dress ups. They were great. And it just was such a good story. I really liked it a lot. Don't forget to make paragraphs. Do you guys know what indent means, to indent?
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
like double finger space in the
good.
beginning.
yes, just at the beginning of each paragraph, even the first one, okay? So try to remember that. I'm gonna put a little paragraph symbol here just to remind you to do that. And then I think, right here where he starts touching everything and it turns to gold, that should be a separate paragraph. So whenever you start a new paragraph, go down to the next line and do the 2 finger space.
Got it.
Okay, so what for each paragraph, he began to worry. And then another new paragraph right here. Yeah. So next time, make sure to do that. Otherwise, I love it. Okay, go ahead, Levi.
The greedy king that became grateful. King Midas, who was a very greedy man and loved gold. His palace was very shiny with gold everywhere, but he still wanted more. He lived very unhappily. One day, a strange visitor came to his house and said she would grant him one wish.
It might have been a female visitor. I mean, in the story,
My story is his girl.
that's all right.
The greedy king happily wished that whatever he touched would turn to gold. He turned the table, a chair, and his bed to gold. He was happy that the table and the chair turned to gold, but not his bed. But soon flowers lost their color and smell, and food was inedible. He began to worry. Not long after, his daughter, who was running towards him to give him a big hug, he quickly turns into a gold statue when he hugged her. He pleaded out, "No!" He regretted his unwise wish and was sorry. He knew he made a mistake and pleaded out, "Who can save me from this curse?" Not long after, the strangely amazing visitor returned, who had granted him a wish. She told him to wash his hands in the river that goes by the name of Actios, and the gold flowed out of his hands. Afterwards, he ran to his palace and picked up a rock, and it stayed the same. He went inside, and everything that he touched turned back, and his daughter was there and gave him a big hug. After that, Midas became a kind and likable and grateful king.
Nice, let's clap for him. Very good. Hold on just a second. It's cool you guys are writing long stories now. I bet it's been a while since you've written a long story like that, but it was so good with your dress ups. I loved your LY words and I heard all the who witch in there. And it flowed really nicely. I'm okay with you changing up how the stranger ended up being a girl. That's okay. Sometimes it's fun to change it up a little bit. All right, Grayson.
How did he Midas get his daughter off of him when she hugged him and turned into
Good
gold?
question. I have no idea. All right. We are actually finished with King Midas, unless there's anybody that's still working on it. If you're still working on it, you can keep it in your front pocket, but if you're finished with King Midas, go ahead and put it in your extra folder or binder with your finished stuff. And it's best to put them in the rings because that way it keeps it a little more organized. So did you already put away King Midas?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're gonna get out the next one, yes. And it is week 7, Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. So you're gonna get out that week 7.
3, 4.
There's 4 pages. You do need a lined paper too.
Alright, can I work on it? Can I do this when I get then you take it out?
Yeah, if you're not done with King
Wait,
Midas,
wait.
then you should leave it in the front pocket and then you can put it away later. Yes, thank you for raising your hand.
I was just wondering, are we gonna do like the whole story today?
We'll find out. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes, okay? So 4 pages from the first tab that says source text, that's where the story's at.
It's so
4
nice to have
pages.
less space.
I know, it is kind of nice. It's weird that the class is so small though. There's only like 6 people here today. Okay. Yeah. Oh, week 7, and it's called Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. And there's 4 pages you're gonna take out. And a piece of lined paper. Yeah, take those out too.
Oh, that equals 5
All
papers.
4 pages plus the lined paper. Yep. And when you're all set, give me a thumbs up. See that? Eliana, looks like you're set. You can give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. I see that. Got your lined paper too? You can put your binder on the floor or you can push it up here if you want out of the way. So we got space today. Okay, Grayson, you got it? I think you went too far.
Oh, this is,
Yeah,
it's,
but I don't-
why, there's a robot,
This one right here. See how it says source text right there? And there it is. Why Opossum Has a Bare Tail. So you're gonna take out 4 pages, okay?
Yes. And what?
Yeah.
But then you write in whatever color Bill said.
Keep going. 3 and 4. Yep, you got it. So close up your rings with the tabs. Use it. It's better to use the tabs because you don't want to bend those rings. And a piece of lined paper. Have you guys ever seen a real opossum before?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. No,
Some of you have, some of you haven't. Oh, on Ice Age. If you look at the back of the story, there is a little picture. This, okay, Grayson, this is a cartoon version of an opossum. They're basically like an oversized rat. They're furry like a rat, but their tail is like long and naked. There's no hair on it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh. But they do, you know what, they live in Bakersfield. I've seen them there before, but I've never seen them up here. Okay, guys, listen up. Have you seen one here? Oh, you have? In your yard or, okay, maybe it's like lower down here. Do you guys live in like Golden Hills area? Yeah, because I live up higher in the mountains and I don't see them up there, but maybe they like to come down lower. But anyway,
Possums mostly found.
they're mostly found in, I think,
Forest.
maybe forest or some, not desert, but like I said, Bakersfield is just kind of a valley, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, Grayson
not too
says-
high up in the
Grayson
mountains.
says he's seen opossums like in Tehachapi, and I don't.
Well, Ava says she saw one too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in her yard. Did you scare it away or something, or?
I actually saw a fox.
They are nocturnal. They
What's
come
it
out
called?
at night.
Cause we just have to go down this road.
He must have seen it.
And we just like straight down this road, if you go down this road all the way down. Then we just have to take one turn. And there's a big coyote in the road.
Oh, no.
May I say something?
We're gonna start with, not right now, we're gonna start with a blue page. So everybody put this page on top, okay? Yes, you know about these, Levi? Have you heard about them? So in this class, in this binder, we now have words that are banned. And that means you can't use them anymore. You're not allowed to use these words in your writing. You can say the words when we're talking, and we can even use these words on our keyword outline. But when it comes to writing your paper, you cannot use the words I'm about to tell you anymore. And it's not because they're bad words. It's because they're boring words. And that's going to challenge you to come up with a better word. Okay, they're not bad. It's just that they're kind of boring. Uh-oh, look in your binder again. Check it again.
Use that word in one of my.
Why are you making it for us now?
Well, the challenging is good because that's going to make you a better writer. So do you notice the boxes on the top that look like that?
They
They got a
are like the
line.
band words.
Those are the word, that's the spot where we're actually going to put the banned words. And the first one is you're going to put in this upper part, say, and then said. Did you find it? Oh, good. Thank you.
Those fast.
Oh, as in like.
So you can't say said anymore. You guys did already with King Midas said, or the stranger said, maybe you didn't, but now we're not gonna be able to use those words anymore. So we're gonna brainstorm, hold on, of a list under that of good words that we can use. Eliana, do you have an example?
So exclaimed,
Yes.
asked, declared,
Okay, hold on. Exclaimed,
told,
asked, do those three. Let me hear Levi's word too.
cried,
Cried, good.
told.
Told. I heard somebody use the word pleaded. I think that was you,
Yeah, that was-
Levi. I like that. That was a good one. That's when you're like pleading, like, please help me get rid of the golden touch. Okay, any others you can think of? These are all ED words, by the way. These are past tense. Replied, good one. Yes,
Yelled.
yes, good. Yelled. Can you see okay? I know I keep standing in your way there, but. Ooh, should you write these down? These are good words to use. Yes, Eliana.
Screamed.
Ooh, yes. Especially if they're mad or scared. What if they're saying it quietly? Whispered, I mean, like whispered, yeah.
Explain. Talked.
Are you guys running out of room?
I talked. I said.
Do we have explain? Oh yeah, that's the first one.
Explain.
Oh,
Explain.
explain. Uh-oh.
You killed the eraser.
Uh-oh, bye-bye eraser. I think we'll stop there, but guess what? There's a ton more. So when you're writing your story and you have a character that's talking, look for one of these words that will fit. If you don't see one you like, you can always use a thesaurus. Have you guys used one of those before? It's like a dictionary. And so you look up the word said, and then it'll tell you other words to use instead of said. It tells you synonyms. You know what those are, right?
Oh yeah,
Where
so
they
like
mean the
word-
same thing.
They mean the same thing, but they're not the same word.
But they're not the same word. So you could also look online. If your mom or dad, if they're okay with that, you can go to Google and say, what's another word for said?
I do that with school.
As long as they're okay with that, you can do that and it'll come up with some other words for you. The other word is you're gonna put see and then
Saw.
saw. See,
Seesaw.
saw. And this one is gonna be a tough one because in the story that you're writing this week, you're gonna be tempted to use the word saw. But what could we put instead of that? Yes.
Glared.
Ooh,
Blind.
glared.
Found.
Yes, found.
Saw. Oh.
No.
What?
Yeah, one, Jace?
Look.
Yes, I like it. Looked. Eliana, you have another one?
Stared.
Stared.
Five.
Spied. I like that. Spied. Or spotted. Like I spotted the fox behind the tree.
Oh yeah, I saw a fox like right next to me.
Fox, they're so cute.
Yes, there's like
Super cute.
Oh, you should. So while our construction was starting, we sat on like these wood plank things, and then we saw like a gray fox. I think it was like a mountain gray fox or something.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know, but it was like right there. It was like I think
So
6
cute.
feet away from us.
Oh my goodness, how cute. I added observed and watched.
nice.
Does anyone eat crab?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like crab.
I've never tried crab. I've tried
It's
like
good.
shrimp. Oh wait, I think no, just shrimp. I have it in my sushi at Ichiban.
But let's get back to what we're talking about here.
Sir,
Did you have one to add?
I was about to say because you said crab and I haven't yet.
Oh,
Have anyone tried clam chowder with crackers?
those are clams. Yeah, those are good though too. Okay. Well, let's stop there. That's a pretty good list. If you, like I said before, if you don't like any of these when you're writing your story, you can always look up another word for saw. Make sure it's not saw like cutting wood saw. Okay. Make sure it's saw like with your eyes. But there's lots of other things you can use. So these words, say, said, and seesaw are now banned. You cannot use them in your writing anymore for my class. Seen?
Yeah, like, see.
Well, good question, because any version or any form of that word is banned. So you can't use like seeing.
This is version something.
These are other words, but I mean like, you can't say seen
Synonyms.
or no, like forms. That's what I meant to say. Other forms of the word, like seeing, you can't use that, or seen, or saying, something like that.
Said.
Said is just said. But any form of those
you
words
spell
you can't
weird?
use. Weird?
Weird.
Okay, let's work on that later, okay? I need you to focus. Did you write these down, Harrison?
I already.
Do not work on King Midas right now, okay? That's for later. You should already have that done, but you can work on it later. All right, let's work on your keyword outline next. Actually, it's gonna be a story sequence chart.
I was just like King Midas.
Can you hand your blue page to Grayson so he can copy that? Because he needs to catch up to us real quick here. Yeah, it's the same thing.
No.
You guys weren't done yet?
No.
I'm so sorry. There we go. Thank you, Levi. I'm trying not to go too fast, but we have a lot to cover today, so sorry, I'll slow down a little. Today's date is 12/9/24. What? That seems like it's coming up so fast.
Tomorrow's gonna be the final countdown of Christmas, like the 15-day countdown.
Oh. All right, so you need to get out your blue page.
I do.
Where is it?
It's here.
That's your sister's page.
Grayson, it's under all the pages. Oh. It is.
Okay, go ahead and copy down what she has on hers.
I have so many papers around me.
So put hers next to you so you can see it and then write those down. All right, this is called, by the way, did you notice that word bear is B-A-R-E? That's like bare feet. You don't have
Yeah, like a
any-
bear tree.
barefoot means you don't have any shoes on.
Or
right?
socks.
So bare just means like nothing's on them. Bare hands, or if he has a bare tail, there's no, you don't normally say that, but
Oh,
you
so
normally
bare
say
tail.
bald when you're talking about red. But the tail doesn't have any fur on it, so that's why they called it a bear.
His head is
Tail.
bare.
So let's write the title. Why opossum has a bare tail. It's kind of a big title, so make sure you have plenty of room there. And who remembers what SSC stands for?
Story sequence chart.
Is that what you were gonna say too? She beat you to it. SSC, story sequence chart. We did this with King Midas. We're gonna do it again for this one. And you guys remember, there's three, Jace, there's like three parts to the story. Bless you. Sneeze.
He knows that is.
I think it was a sneeze.
But.
Kind of warm in here. I'm gonna turn the heater off for a second. Okay. So there are three main parts to a story. Well, let's set this up really quick. Okay, go ahead and skip a line. And remember how we drew a line down a little bit closer to your red line. Leave a little more space on this side. I don't think I did a good spot here, like about right here. Draw a line down about that far. Doesn't have to be perfect, so don't worry about that. Okay, on the right side, at the top, Roman numeral 1. And then move over a little space there, and you're gonna do 1, 2, 3. Remember how we did that?
There you go.
Try to keep it nice and neat, like you do your math. Well, you know how you have to line up your numbers for math. Skip a line. It's not you, Levi.
I need some help.
All you're doing is copying. Oh,
Oh, that's complete.
okay, got it.
You don't really double screens.
Roman numeral 2. Remember how those look? Do one of those, and then skip a line, and we're gonna do Roman numeral 3. Same thing. 1, 2.
Huh? Look, it looks like an A. It looks like a G. There, it looks like a G.
What is the word, Eliana?
Let me see He replies.
Okay, so it's replied with a D at the end.
Reply and.
Okay, got that? Now, right on top of each Roman numeral, you're gonna trace the line across. So we're making boxes. Listen up, guys. Right on top of each Roman numeral, you're gonna draw it all the way across. And then wherever your line ends on the bottom, it's okay if there's extra space. So now we have 6 boxes. You ready back there, Jace? You need to catch up. No talking back there, because what's happening, Jace, is you're getting behind, okay? So Levi, let him work. And then Grayson, finish up the word you're writing, and then I want you to catch up with us here, because this is what we're working on today in class, okay? So just finish up the word you're on, and then copy the rest of them later, okay, Grayson? All right. There are 6 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this represents 3 chunks of a story, right? There's 3 main chunks of a story.
Yeah, story sequence chart.
Yes.
Makes it easy.
Grayson, you can stop writing that and get out your line paper. Yeah, you'll have to copy those later. Remember I talked about Kung Fu Panda? I like talking about Kung Fu Panda. And how whenever you have a good story or movie or book, what's going on? Okay. Set up your line paper like this. Put your name and date. Start here, Grayson.
Oh.
And then your title. What do we talk about first? When you're writing a story, what comes first in the story? Do you remember what we introduced first? Yes.
The main character.
Characters, do you remember the other word?
Setting.
Setting, is that what you were gonna say too? And Levi, I kind of heard you say it too. So right here in this box, let's put characters. You might have to write kind of small. If you need to use the line underneath it, that's okay too. And setting. That's when we ask the question who, go ahead and write that in there, and the
Where.
word where. It's really important that we start there because that kind of lays the foundation for the story. So we know who's gonna be in the story and kind of a little bit of a background of the characters, so we know what's going on. Otherwise, if you start in the middle of the story, it's gonna be confusing. So we're always gonna start there. Let's see what time we got. Okay. I'm gonna talk about these two boxes. Well, let's just talk about them really quick. What goes in the middle? What do you remember, Eliana?
I remember like what happens.
Yes, Hallie.
Oh, I thought it was for the other one. I don't know.
Levi?
Conflict problem.
Is that what you were gonna say too? Yes. Conflict. Good. Good job. Slash problem. Every good story has a problem. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. Every good story has a problem because then the rest of the story is how they solve the problem, right? So let's answer the question what here. Oops, question mark. And then how about the last box? What do we do at the end?
Why?
No, not why. How? But what are we calling this box here? Do you remember the two words we put there, Levi?
Starting with an R.
Yeah. The first word started with a C though. Resolution is the R word. It's climax. Remember that one? Climax. And then resolution. And the question was how? And that's when we talked about the little mountain peak. You guys remember that analogy? And it had a little guy on top of it. And if he went this way, he'd land on the spikes. If he went this way, he landed on the cloud.
No.
Or the other way around, okay? So meaning, is he gonna die or is he gonna live and defeat the bad guy? Is he gonna find his way home or is he gonna be lost
If
forever?
he jumps to the spikes, because spikes can be too close together, so there's always room in between each one.
Well, you get the idea, Jace.
He could just land.
You get the idea. It's one side's bad, one side's good. So it's basically that part of the story where you don't know how the story's gonna end up. That's what that picture represents.
Yeah,
We're just gonna leave it like that.
Just go right. Go
All
right there
right.
and, like,
Let's look at the story.
under there. and
Get out the
connect
story
it.
now. This is page 55. 55, why opossum has a bare tail. Now, this is a fable. It's not an Aesop's fable. It doesn't say that. But a fable is a made-up story. It's right there.
Long ago when I first
Actually,
started with
Eliana,
my-
can you get your paper back? There you go.
Thank you, Jason.
There's too many. Do you see it? It's right at the top of the table there. Under, yep, there it is. Okay, this is a made-up story, but it has a lesson we can learn from it, like a life lesson, so we're gonna talk about that. But I want you to be thinking about the characters and the setting first in this story, okay? So it says, long ago, when the first animals roamed the land and all of them could talk, opossum had a long, white, furry tail. I'm gonna stop there, because do animals talk like English?
No.
They bark or meow or moo or whatever the animal is, they make sound, right? But they don't talk, they don't talk over me. They make sounds, but this is meaning like speaking English, so this is a made-up story, you can tell. Plus, we know that opossums don't have a big white furry tail. He was proud of his tail, but one afternoon he spied Raccoon preening himself on a branch of a tree. That means cleaning himself. So he's like cats do, licking their paws or whatever. Raccoon's tail with its lustrous rings looked so elegant in the setting sun that Opossum became jealous and wished for such a tail. So he waddled over to Raccoon's tree, looked up, and asked politely, "How did you get those pretty rings on your tail?" Now, Raccoon was a haughty and mischievous character who looked down upon Opossum. Haughty just means he thinks he's all that. He's like, you wish you had my tail, huh? Well, too bad. You know, he was kind of like that. Okay, that's what that means.
That's all y'all
I
know.
think- okay,
He's
shh.
supposed to be naughty.
Raccoon, no, haughty is a word. Haughty.
Oh,
It's,
it is?
yeah, it just means that he thought of himself as better than everybody else. So he was kind of like bragging, selfish, kind of like that. Greedy. Raccoon determined to play a cruel trick on him. Well, I wrapped cedar bark around my tail, here and here and here and here, he demonstrated. Then I placed my tail in the coals of a fire, and the fur between the bark turned black, but the rest remained white, as you can see. Thanking Raccoon, Opossum rushed away to gather some cedar bark. He wrapped strips around his tail just as Raccoon had instructed. Then he went to the clearing in the forest where many of the animals were enjoying a big bonfire. When the fire died, turn it over, down, he turned and placed his tail in the red hot coals. However, the coals were still so hot that Opossum's fur and the bark caught fire. His tail was burning like a torch. He panicked and jumped into the pond to put out the flames. When Opossum saw his poor naked tail, he wailed and moaned. Although he waited years for his lovely white tail fur to grow back, it never did because the tail was too badly burnt. It remained bare for the rest of his life, and all his children, and all his children's children, and all his children's children's children have had bare tails ever since.
That's definitely not a true story.
And no, definitely not a true
All
story.
he wanted was a
So-
pretty tail.
He wanted stripes, and then he fell for the trick. What were you gonna say,
But
Brit?
the
or
technically
Jace?
thing right now, if the dad's bald,
Their child would be
then the
bald.
children be bald.
Kind of
If this story's true.
Right, that's the thing. It's a fable, right? But what is the lesson? What's the lesson we can learn from it, though? A life lesson. What do you think, Hallie?
Don't be so selfish.
Don't be so selfish. Is there anything else we can learn from it?
How's that
Like,
selfish?
to be- To be thankful for what you have.
Not to trust people when
Ooh.
you don't know them.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one. That's a good one. Stranger danger, right? Don't trust people that you don't know.
There, I made his tail.
That's a good one. Or maybe you were thinking greedy. Would that work better, Jace? Maybe not be greedy instead of
Oh,
selfish,
he
right?
wanted a better.
He wanted a better tail. He wasn't okay with his own tail, even though he liked it. He wanted a better tail. So it's best to be thankful for what you have. Yes.
So basically, if you have something that you think is better, you don't have to get it because all you need to do is be thankful for what you
Yes.
have.
Yes. So I'll start with Ava. Who's the first character that they talk about in the story? Opossum. So everybody write Opossum here next to number 1.
Is he really?
And then Ava, if you had to pick 2 words to describe him at the beginning of the story, like his personality, how would you describe him? Greedy.
Proud.
I like that. Proud. Is that what you're gonna say or something similar? Okay, good. So we're starting out by describing the characters in the beginning, just like we said here in this box, who and where. So let's talk about his tail for a minute in the beginning. So Brady, what was his tail like in the beginning?
White
Okay, what else?
and fluffy.
And fluffy. Even though maybe it didn't use the word fluffy, We can use it. Remember, we're not writing like every sentence keywords anymore. We're kind of branching away from that. Now we're doing ideas, like what are the characters and what are they like? So we've got white fluffy tail. That is the opossum's tail. And then, Eliana, who's the next character that comes in?
Raccoon.
Raccoon. Let's put that next. Up two C's.
Oh,
CC and OO.
I just made that mistake. Okay, raccoon.
Raccoon.
I didn't
What
do this.
kind of a tail does raccoon have?
Like a luxuriously beautiful striped tail. almost.
Yes, striped. Okay, so, or rings. Do you want to use that word rings? Beautiful rings? Let's put that.
I'm
Beautiful.
gonna put luxurious.
You can put luxurious, you can put pretty, you can put, I think lustrous is the word they use in the story. Any of those words would be good for beautiful. So if you have a different one you want to use, that's fine. And then when you're done, Levi, oh, well, let me help you on this part because then,
Settings.
well, opossum, this time I'm not gonna write the word because I don't want to use a word yet. I'm gonna use a symbol for opossum. I'm gonna do an O with a circle. It looks like a donut, kind of.
How about just do
Circle,
Oh,
circle this O too to help you remember, okay? If you circle that one, then you'll know, oh yeah, O is opossum. He looks up, I'm gonna draw an up arrow, into a tree. I'm gonna draw like a little Christmas tree type tree here. Kinda. There we go.
that's basically just using symbols.
So far, because I want to save what he says. So Levi, what does he, oh, that's perfect. What does he say when he looks up to see raccoon? What does he say to the raccoon?
How did you get those pretty rings on your tail?
Yes, how did you get those pretty rings? So I'm gonna put some quotation marks here and I'm gonna put how pretty rings.
I was thinking.
Now we've got our three words. How did you get those pretty rings? And notice, hold on just a second, the quotation marks. We talked about that in grammar. Make sure when you write your quote, you put the question mark on the inside of the quotation mark, okay? And what were you gonna say, Eliana?
I was gonna say maybe opossum doesn't need to learn the lesson. I think the raccoon needs to learn the lesson.
Yeah, he's being mean, right?
Yeah,
That's
he's
not
not
nice.
just haughty, he's naughty.
He's haughty and naughty. That's pretty good.
Technically, he's saying that he tore his tail off, and then when he grew back, the rings were there. Because my roots were bond to.
Yeah,
so
no more hair at all ever.
He
So-
lost his beautiful.
We talked a little bit about where they are by drawing that little tree. So that's a symbol that they're in the forest, right? Because they're in the
Before
trees.
he should have tore his off. He should have. Then how did it grow back when your roots are born today?
We're gonna use a symbol here for raccoon now.
He says, "Why
I was
don't you
gonna-
tell Bird?"
This is for raccoon. Can you guys remember the R for raccoon? It's
Yeah.
O for opossum, R. And let me ask Jace, what does the raccoon plan? What is he planning?
To burn his roots to death.
But he's planning a trick, right? He's gonna be tricky. Hold on. How would you describe the trick?
I know what.
Is it a nice trick?
No.
Is he being nice to him? No. How would you describe it? Okay, just listen. Let him think.
A death trick.
It wasn't death. He didn't die, okay?
His root is,
Well, I know, but he didn't die, so it's not a death trick.
hell death trick.
If you want to put that, you can, but tail death trick. What do you think, Levi? Oh, a scheme. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, because he wanted the tail of the best tail for himself.
Say that one more time.
Because he wanted the
We're
best
talking about
tail.
So the best tail trick, what?
Say that one more time, Grayson.
The trick was to for him to have the best tail.
Okay,
He was jealous.
well,
of
he
him.
didn't want opossum to have the best tail though, right? I'm
Oh.
trying to remember how to spell
I got a
scheme.
question.
Do you guys remember how to spell scheme?
Look in your
dictionary.
That's what I thought too.
Why would the giraffe?
How do you spell scheme?
Did the giraffe?
Okay,
have
so
the
how do you spell
tail,
scheme again?
but
The giraffe.
S?
Everybody has to be quiet because she's listening to everybody when I ask her that.
And then the bird is shorter.
How do you spell scheme?
S-C-E-E-M.
You are right. I wonder if we should put he was scheming. If you like that word, or you can put planning.
again.
I know.
Plotting.
Evil trick
Ooh, yeah, plot.
or mean trick. And then he says,
Evil brain.
Hallie, what does he say to do to your tail?
Burn it. Put wood
And the
on
death
it, and then put it in pool.
Yes.
He told him to put it in
Well, he said like to wrap your tail, right?
Tie.
Tail and bark. Yep.
Tie.
Bark. Bark is part of a tree. You know that, right? And then he says, put in fire.
Did you know you can eat tree bark?
Say that again.
You can eat tree bark.
I did not know that. Probably is good for your teeth, huh?
What's it called? Actually, cinnamon actually comes from a tree. Huh?
And then he says the rings will turn black.
Tree favorite soda.
That's what he says. Wrap your tail in bark, put it in the fire, and the rings will turn black, right? Shh, guys, pay attention. Did you write that down? We've got that full now. This is the problem. This is, and raccoon is the one starting the problem, right? He's telling opossum to do these things. So then opossum, we're back to O again here. He does that. He wraps his tail. I'm going to put wraps tail. And then he puts it in the fire, right?
Ooh, can I say the different words I used for it?
Sure.
So I did loop tail bark, put in flames, stripes become dark.
Nice. I like that. So yeah, if you have a different way of writing this, you can do it differently. I'm just going to put these two words here because I can't think of another one for this part, but for number one, I'm going to put bonfire. I like that word.
Ooh, you could put
Bonfire. And then he put his tail in the coals. Do you know what coals are? The part of the fire when it starts to kind of burn down, but it's like glowing red. It's like super, super bright and hot, 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 hot. Super hot. And then he puts his tail in there next, right? So Grayson, what happens when he put his tail in there?
It burned
It
its tail.
Burned like what?
It's like you were throwing wood inside of it.
It looked like a what? There's a word that it looked like.
Looked like flame.
Flame?
Looked like the. Wait, I got a question.
Torch. Do you guys know what a torch is?
Yes.
Where you have like this long stick and it's got
Yeah.
a
So
ball
like
of fire
it's
on
kind
it.
of like a big bat almost.
Yes, with fire on the top. Yes, Grayson.
Did the raccoon do the trick to a giraffe? Because I think the giraffe had a long tail, but then the raccoon
It became a big
black, and then white torch. The giraffe put it in the fire, but then it burnt its tail and made it small.
Maybe, but look at this
Oh,
one.
What about
I put hair and then I circled it and crossed it out. Did you write that, Jace? Hey, Jace, you got to write it all down. You cannot leave this place until you write it all down. Okay, so stop talking and just write. I put hair with a circle and a line through it, meaning no more hair. The hair is gone, right? And then remember how it says at the end, his children's children, all those, everybody, for all the generations ahead of him. So he waited, but the tail never grew back. right? I mean, the
Way
tail
too-
grew back, but the tail was there, but the hair never grew back. I'm just gonna put children's and then put children. How it says at the end, even the children, all of them, no hair.
Weighted
Okay.
children.
Your homework this week is actually gonna be to write the 3 paragraphs this time because we have it ready to go. Look at your checklist. I know you guys are still writing, so make sure you get all this down. I'm not gonna erase it till you got it all on there. This is page 59. Look under where it says style. See how you still have ly adverb. You still have who, which clause. And now you have what's called a strong verb. Now, a strong verb is one of the words that you wrote on your blue page under the band words. Those are all good, strong verbs like yelled or exclaimed, yes, or instead of saw, you put observed or
Screamed.
watch. All those words are good, strong verbs. So use one of those words in each paragraph and underline it. Okay,
Is it
for your
okay if
strong
we
verb.
write like ly adverbs in it?
Yes, so look at your checklist. You still have that on there. You need one ly word in each paragraph. You need one who or which in each paragraph. Listen, when you talk about a character like one of these characters, because they're acting like humans, because they talk to each other, right? Use the word who. So like, if you're talking about opossum who was jealous of raccoon's tail, that's a good place to put a who clause. Okay? And then use a strong verb. And then notice under that, check for banned words. You guys see that? Say, said, see, saw. So you can't use those words anymore in your papers. Did you have a question, Eliana?
No, actually, I have something to say. For the say and said, you could put instructed.
Yes, good one. Because raccoon did instruct on how to make rings on his tail. Any other questions about the homework? You're gonna write 3 paragraphs this time. Let me hold this up for those that are watching online here or on the recording. You can pause it if you need to write those down. So 3 paragraphs this week. Make sure you follow your checklist. Don't forget to double space. And if you make a mistake and you're writing in pen, just draw a line through it. Don't scribble it. Some of you are like, you
Like
scribble
I
it.
used to do.
And then you got smudges and then it's a big mess. Just one line, fix it above it. That's why we double space, so there's room to fix stuff. Any last minute questions? Next week is our party. Bring a snack. We're gonna have fun.
Is
Yes.
it okay if I said hello to YouTube?
Well, sure.
Yay.
You can say hi.
Hello.
Hello. All right, that's it for today.